what do you think the future of K-12 classes, history or otherwise, look like given the state of democracy, and or should look like or could look like given the state of democracy as today? And what can teachers do to support students' movement towards this kind of justice-oriented citizenship with a critical lens?
Well, that's a real easy question. So I'll give that to Dr. Nucci.
Thanks a lot. Well, I think the positive side of this is that young people are future oriented. There is a kind of an inherent optimism in kids, and part of what we know about development is they go through phases where they are not buying what we're selling. And that gives us the opportunity then for them to look at the world new and to try to own and think about their own futures. So we have to, as teachers, be the advocates and defenders of these young people, and to engage students in the search for the following things. What we were saying before: truth. Teach kids how to gain access to information, to be critical consumers of information, to engage each other in legitimate discourse, to know how to talk and listen to each other. In this society that we have, we don't engage in discourse, we engage in debate. We teach our students persuasive essay writing. We don't necessarily do the things that you have, Chahari, in the UVA website, how to engage students in legitimate or functional legitimate discourse. And we need to really work with students on respecting the institutions of democracy. We have social conventions that are designed for a reason. They're there to protect us all. And that we don't just go tear down the house in an effort to try to build a better world. And finally, I think engage our young people in actual action. They can create podcasts. They can do things as civic actors. They don't need to just read about it and think about it and take a test on it to get into college, but to participate in community activities, to be active citizens, and to feel some ownership for this democracy and not just passive consumers.
Thank you, Dr. Jeffries.
Yeah, I mean, as I listened, Dr. Nucci, to the list that you just offered and shared, you know, critical consumers of information, engaging in discourse, and not just simply debate. And I hear that, and I fully agree with that. And then I think about the wave of, you know, anti-CRT laws and, you know, don't say gay. Like all these new measures are designed to stop everything that you just said that we should be doing, like the future of the classroom. Yeah. And so that is frightening, right? Because everything we need to be doing, you know, we now have, you know, a number of states that are not just proposing this, but have put on the books measures to stop that. And I think, you know, that final point of including, Ohio has a part of its, you know, anti-CRT legislation that's making its way through the state legislature, is not giving credit to students who, high school credit or, you know, class credit, school credit, for engaging in civic activities, right? Which was, I mean, it's exactly what we don't want them to understand democracy, to be able to challenge authority, to challenge the status quo. And so I think if we continue in that direction, and we will continue in that direction unless we organize and push back, right? The arc of the moral universe is long, but it will only bend towards justice if we exert the force willing to bend it in that direction. And so the classroom that you described, I think, is the one we need to be fighting for, the one we need to aspire to. But it is absolutely going to take us as educators, as teachers, to get engaged in a purposeful project to make that happen, which is not just sort of, and that can't be done just by one teacher in a classroom, right? I mean, that has to, I mean, that's like, my training is in civil rights. I mean, this is civil rights organizing, right? This is Bob Moses saying, look, how do we transform the teaching of algebra, right? I mean, how do we expand it? I mean, and this goes across just one one subject, right? And it involves the students themselves. The student, it has to be made clear to young people that they have an active say in their education, in their future, and in their classroom. And to empower them. I mean, some of the pushback, the successful pushback that we have seen against book bans, for example, is not coming from parents, right? Who are like, this is terrible. It's coming from kids who are saying, no, 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 right? Like, stop lying to us and stop preventing us. So I think we have to get to what you outlined. And I think the way to get to that, understanding that there are forces arrayed that are designed purposely for us to not get there, is to be active and purposeful and engaging students to say, no, this is what we need to get, and we have to engage and fight to get there.